All right. Shalom, shalom. Like to start off by saying Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad. The Akim and the Akwat that's listening in. Yahweh Rat is our Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab Mawan back at you with another lesson. Going into the title, they will be waiting for you. Right, and this is pertaining to those FEMA camps, right? The Fifi camps, right? And I'm gonna play a video, one video, and then I'm gonna play a video that I brought out uh, about 4 days ago on the highways and hedges, speaking about the movie 2073, which is a movie that brothers should definitely watch. A few sisters in this truth should watch to show you what our future is going to look like, things that are going to happen, disasters that are happening. You know, it's like it's a documentary slash movie. So they kind of put them both together. All right, but it shows you what's the future of America. All right, and it shows you a lot of what's going on out in China. All right, and you know when you look at the state of China, that will be the state of America also. Okay, eventually. So there's a part I want to play from the movie where it shows you about these Fifi camps, all right, out there already being used and people being detained. Okay, and then I have a chat from the chat GPT, right? I asked it a few questions just to see what it would say, right? But let's grab this before I continue, right? With this, this is give me 1 second. This is Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and get straight to the point, right? Just give me 1 second. I know what I want, but I want to bring it out a different way. This is Matthew 24. I'm gonna do this one first. Um, 32. Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise, ye, when you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. All right. And the end is near. The end is manifest, is being made plain upon the tables, right? For you to understand it. For everything that has a beginning, it has an end. All right. So, you know, as it says, look at the parable of the fig tree. When you begin to see that the branch is yet tender, right? You see that it's bringing out leaves. You start to see the figs. That lets you know that summer is nigh, because that's the time that they pretty much, you know, start to come out in. Okay, they'll start coming out. You know, that when right before summer is about to hit. Like as a matter of fact, summer should be hitting in the next. Even though it's been hot, it's not fully hit summer yet. So summer should be the next week, I believe it is. Like it's the third week of June, somewhere around there. All right, and you will see actual figs, you know, being pushed out around this time, showing you that summer is literally about to be right around the corner and it's there to stay. So it's the same manner, all right, with this word. Okay, when you see these things come to pass, you know that the end is near. And not only just the end is near, these things, all right, that are about to happen, you know, hour of temptation, Jacob's trouble, people getting sent to Fifi camps, you know, all of that. All right, World War III. All right, these are all signs that the Lord leaves for us to understand and to know what time frame we're in. All right, whether the world understands it or not. All right, we understand it and call Haloim La Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for being able to have the spirit of discernment to discern these times and have the eyesight to see, right? Because there were many prophets that desired. call Lord Allah Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That is the Lord right there, boy. And you know, I think that knocked everybody's power out. Literally. But you know, these were signs, and that's the spirit too. I said it as soon as I said that these are signs that the Lord is, you know, leaving for us to understand. You see, so you know, there's no more excuses of you don't know what time we're in, right? The Lord is constantly leaving signs for us to understand, right? So that shit made my heart jump, boy. Seriously, you gotta fear the Lord, right? So let's grab let me grab the chat first, right? Just to see what it says, and then I'll play the videos. Give me 1 second. Let me go to the chat. Yeah, that shit was unexpected, boy. Give me 1 second. Cause it's so beautiful outside right now. It was so hot today. It's so cool right now. Got my windows down. Everything getting wet, but it's cool. Right? So it says, I asked it a few different questions just to see what will come up. Or of course, they're not gonna definitely tell you. All right, but you play with it a little bit, it'll give you some type of information. So I said, is FEMA, all right, is the FIFI camps ready in the United States of America to be used? There's no publicly verified evidence that the United States has a network of secret FIFI prison camps sitting ready to detain large numbers of civilians. What people often call the FIFI camps usually refers to real emergency facilities or a long-running conspiracy claim, right? Here's the distinction, right? It says Federal Emergency Management Agency does not maintain or coordinate emergency shelters, disaster housing sites, logistics centers, and temporary camps for hurricanes, floods, wildfires, migrant support, and in some cases in other emergencies, right? Migrant support is heavy, all right, because that's what's going on with our people right now. They're getting snatched up by these ice cream agents, and then they get sent to these places, right? And a lot of them either get sent away to another country they don't know about. They might not even come back. You know, some people are being erased and depopulated away, you know, disappearing from the system, all right? Or they're just maintaining them right now, holding them there. And I just did a video on that a couple days ago, how they're basically going to be the first ones to be used in this biometric tracking system, which all roads lead to the MOTB, right? It says during disasters, the government has used temporary housing like trailers, tent cities, convention centers, military bases, and emergency shelters after events such as Hurricane Katrina and major wildfires. And that's facts. They use those things too. All right. But the bigger picture of why it's there, all right, is not just for wildfires and hurricanes, man. All right, it's to detain a large number of people when the time is right. All right, it says claims that there are nationwide prison camps already prepared for martial law or mass detention of citizens have circulated for decades, but they have not been substantiated with credible evidence. All right, and the fact that it's already explaining itself when I didn't ask that, all right, is funny, right? So it is already saying claims that are nationwide prison camps already prepared for martial law and mass detention of citizens have circulated for decades. All right, but we've heard our own government already speak on that and tell you that they want to have they already have those ready for mass deportation. Okay, so now it says a few reasons people sometimes think The FIFI camps are ready, right? Some facilities exist for emergencies, warehouses, temporary shelter infrastructure, right? And it says federal sites, photos of detention centers, military training areas, rail cars, or emergency staging areas are sometimes shared online and labeled as FIFI camps, right? Then it says concerns about government overreach, emergency powers, or civil unrest can make these claims feel plausible to some people, right? Then it said, hold on. Then it says, if your question is, could the government set up emergency camps quickly in a national crisis? Yes, governments can establish temporary shelters during disasters or large emergencies. All right. So, all it takes is something big to actually happen, man. All right. All we need is a black swan event to pop off. All right. And they will be in full effect. Right. It says, if your question is, are there verified prison camps already prepared for mass detention of Americans? There's no reliable public evidence showing that such a system is currently standing by for that purpose. If there's a specific claim, video, map, or location you've seen, I can help look at the exact claim and separate the documents, blah, 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 right? So I asked it after that, how many FEMA camps are in the United States? There is no official number of FEMA camps because FEMA does not list or acknowledge a network of permanent detention camps for civilians. The often repeated claim that there are over 800 FEMA camps in the United States is a long running conspiracy claim that has been repeatedly disputed and lacks supporting evidence. A FEMA spokesman has said those claims are false. All right, and forget about what they're talking about false. All right, again, the fact that they explained it in that manner and answered in that manner when I didn't ask that question is already suspect. Because all I asked was how many FEMA camps are in the United States. All right, but they gave me a number that's, I guess, already circulating through the web. So best believe they have that many. All right, remember, this place is going to be divided into 10 parts, as the scriptures say. And, you have that one scripture in Revelation where it talks about, that a great earthquake came about in the 10th part of the city. All right. And when you go into those, how FEMA's going to divide the United States is divided into 10 parts. Okay. Which we've had pictures, that we show you. As a matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. Image of FEMA dividing United States into 10 parts. Right. So this is the exact picture right here. All right, this is the perfect one to see. So this is what it will look like. All right, they're going to divide the United States into 10 parts when it comes to these FEMA, all right, these FEMA camps. So with that being said, let's go back, right? It says, what does exist are FEMA related emergency facilities such as disaster shelters, often schools, stadiums, convention centers, churches, or temporary tent housing. And see, this is the same thing that they're going to use for when it comes to these for these sea-hipping stations, for the Yo Jabba Jabba stations, all right, ultimately for the the Rice Krispie treat. All right, those places, like you just said, stadiums, schools, convention centers, big places like that are going to be taken and be used to inoculate people and to basically take the masses and whoever's left, they're going to take them to places like that so they can be chipped in those places. All right. And we've been saying that for a very long time. All right, because everything here in Egypt is going to fail. Everything's going to shut down. So eventually, those places will be used with those manners. All right, in that manner. All right, they'll be used as, to hold mass amounts of people. Okay, and be able to get them, like I said, inoculated, C-hipped. Okay. So it says emergency staging areas and logistics centers, state and local emergency operation centers, and temporary housing after hurricanes, floods, and wildfires. Same thing that they said earlier, right? Now, let me see. I asked one more question, right? Um, it said, I asked, will FEMA camps be used in the future for detainment and to be used as oh, I put shipping. I didn't put damn. I put chipping, and it came out as shipping stations, and basically yo jabba jabba stations, right? Inoculation stations. Right? It said no one can say with certainty what future emergencies or policies will look like, but is no verified evidence today that FEMA camps are planned to be used as nationwide detention or shipping stations for civilians. All right, which I said they used the wrong word. It was supposed to be C-hipping. All right, but it says a useful way to separate possibilities: emergency shelters, aid centers. All right, going back to the same thing: pandemics and disasters. All right, temporary shelters. Right. Then it says going into the yo jabba jabba, right, or being used for medical sites. It says during the C-19 pandemic, right, temporary inoculation and testing sites were created in place like stadiums, parking lots, convention centers, and some federal supported locations that was public and openly announced. All right. Then it says mass detention claims that FEMA facilities are secretly, check this out, claims that FEMA and facilities are secretly being prepared to detain large numbers of Americans or transport people against their will are widespread online, but there is no reliable public evidence confirming such a plan. All right. Yeah, see, it's spreading online and there's no public evidence confirming it. Why? Because it hasn't happened yet. Shalom, it's because it hasn't happened yet, you see. But if it was to happen, all right, well, then they will be able to have the evidence, okay, to show you these things. It's just raining too much right now. All right. It will be plenty of evidence for you to see, okay? But because they don't have all that evidence, they can't necessarily give you that answer, all right? But it says, could governments expand emergency powers during a severe crisis, pandemic, war? Hey, hold on. Can they expand emergency powers during a severe crisis, pandemic, and war? You see, we're in war. Natural disaster, governments can and sometimes do impose temporary measures, evacuations, quarantines, curfews, or emergency shelters, depending on laws and court oversight. But predicting that FEMA camps will become detention or C-hipping state centers goes beyond what can be established for the evidence today. Okay, so they're not saying they can't, but it can if there was a big enough issue, right? And this is what's coming to America when all hell breaks loose, when the dollar collapses, when society collapses itself. All right, these things will be in full effect. Okay, when they come and make this mandatory MOTB pop off, all right, that is going to put that into full effect. You see, and then on top of that, they have all these new variants that they're speaking about. So they have all these different types of new, yo jabba jabbas ready to go for you. Okay, and this is what they're going to hold mass population for, okay, to be able to control you within that camp, basically. All right, so now let me grab this because that's pretty much done. All right, let me grab this precept. This is I just lost my train of thought. Give me 1 second. What was it? Oh, there you go. The water y'all about some no shot. Jeremiah 30:7, starting from 4. It says, "And these are the words that the Lord Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah." Right? "For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling and of fear, not of peace, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man does travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." All right. So it's going to be a time that has never been before. All right. And it's going to be in the time of Jacob's trouble. All right. And in the time of Jacob's trouble, again, best believe they will have these sites ready to go. They already have these sites ready to go. Don't let them fool you and tell you, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. You know, we don't have any of that ready. That's a whole lie. It's been ready. It's been there for years. It's been prepared. Okay. And who knows what they have done, you know, underground in certain places, you know, whatever. All right. There's definitely hundreds of them, okay, around the United States. And in each and one of these things, they have, you know, they have what do you call them? Guillotines ready to go. All right, because you had the Biden and Obama administration back then, all right, that they already had ordered, all right. They already had ordered guillotines, 600 for each state, somewhere around that number. All right, ordering thousands of them. All right, so don't let them fool you, man. These things are ready to go, right? So let me jump back to this real quick. This is Matthew 24, and this is verse 21. "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." Okay, so it's going to be a greater time of anguish, okay, that we ain't never seen. All right, and that's why we have to let go of these mortal thoughts, all right, and cast our burdens upon the Lord, because these are the times that we're about to enter into. This is the perilous times that the Lord spoke of. All right, so with that being said, let me grab Second Ezra's, all right, 14, and let's take it from 14. It says, "Let go from thee mortal thoughts and cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter." You see? So we're going to see greater evils than we've ever seen, all right, in the world, period. Okay? And Jacob's trouble is going to be one of them. FEMA camps is going to be one of them. It's all part of Jacob's trouble, right? So now let's grab this video from Instagram, right? It says, "How to avoid being forced into FEMA camp. Share now." Right? And I believe the guy's going to say a couple things, and then he's going to try to advertise something, all right? But just listen more to the bigger picture, right?
6 ways to avoid being relocated into a FEMA camp. Share and repost for everyone. We're probably going to need to know this information a little sooner than you think. Most people end up in these camps because they need supplies. Stockpile food, water, and gear now so you never have to seek help. That's how they get you. Cities, natural disaster zones, near military.
And that's why we're going to always put our trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and put not our confidence in man. Okay, because you should not want nothing from nobody other than Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. See, the Lord will sustain you. The Lord is going to provide for you what you need, all right, when he is ready to give you what you need. Okay, so you have people that are in that spirit of being scared of what can happen, so they're going to run to the government for help. They're going to run to Egypt for help, all right? But at the end of the day, all right, you're supposed to cover yourself with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. All right. As he said in Isaiah the 30th chapter, they have not asked in my mouth, right, to let me just grab that real quick so I don't butcher it. This is Isaiah 30 and 1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord Yahweh, to take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt for what? Basically help, right? And have not asked in my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, yeah, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt." See, they're having strengthened themselves with the Lord, man. All right. In order for you to conquer against Esau, right, you have to strengthen yourself with, all right, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah first and foremost, right? So let's go back to what he was saying.
So you never have to seek help. That's how they get you. Cities, natural disaster zones, near military bases, you're at risk for mandatory evacuation, and FEMA camps will be waiting. Relocate now if possible. Search and rescue teams mark homes as they're cleared. Learn how to fake these markings. If they think you're gone, they'll move on. Now, if you want another tutorial on FEMA markings, let me know in the comments. If a chemical attack or a bio threat spreads, evacuations will be forced. Make your home airtight so you can survive in place instead of being herded into a camp. Your main residence is a trap. If things get bad, you need a secondary hideout, preferably far from major population centers. This is where you bring friends and family on board. By the time FEMA or the National Guard arrive, it's already too late. TV and radio news is controlled. Use ham radio and underground sources to know when to disappear. 6 ways to avoid being relocated.
So he's giving you ways to stay away from them, all right, which at the end of the day, you know, man's going of the Lord, so how can a man understand his own way? The Lord is what directs your footsteps. So if the Lord want to get you put in one of those, that's exactly what's going to happen. You can get put into one of those camps, right? And that's why we have to fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai and constantly pray that he have mercy upon us and he put us not in those types of predicaments, okay? And we might have to get put in those predicaments. That's a test of our faith, right? As a test of our faith, a testimony to Yahweh Shai. But if it does, man, we have to be faithful until death, as the scriptures say, right? And again, putting your trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai rather than putting your confidence in man, all right? So he told you, you know, 6 different ways to try to avoid being put into those, which again, you know, none of that shit gonna help you in the day of the Lord's wrath, all right? Other than the names of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai and prayer. You see, so with that being said, let me just show you this video that I spoke about earlier in the lesson, right? That is from the movie 2073. And I want you to hear what they're talking about. And they're going to tell you that they have FEMA camps in China already, and people are being thrown into them. And if they don't comply with the society, that they're pretty much being put to death. They're being unalived. All right, showing you that that's what's going to come to America, the same type of action, right? And let me put it on my Bluetooth because I know that rain is loud as hell right now. It's just crazy too, the way this rain came down, because it was just beautiful outside, and that shit just hit me with a long lightning bolt, right? And then all of a sudden it started pouring, and I'm in sandals and shit. All right, so listen to what he's saying. They're gonna speak in Chinese, but then they basically put it on the bottom, all right, on the subtitles. Which, let me open this up so y'all can. Holy shit. Let me open this up for you, right? All right.
Crashed into the World Trade Center from 9/11. 9/11, when Bush declared war against terror, Chinese government conveniently said, we also face the Muslim terrorists, branding Uyghurs as terrorists.
Matter of fact,
This was that escalation to impose strict policies to make it legal to untrain detainment.
Give me 1 second. Let me just skip straight to that point. Because what's happening in this video is it's about 3 minutes long, but I only want this particular part. They're talking about right now. They're talking about the future of China. All right, what's already in place and what's also coming for the future. But they're basically telling you since 9/11, security done went up. All right, for terrorists' sake, basically. All right, for terrorism. And they basically were speaking about how everything is connected to a digital system. Everything's connected to a social credit score system. All right. If you go to school, you have to comply and take pictures. You have to give fingerprints. You have to give swabs, DNA swabs. And then you have to go into biometrics where they take pictures of your face from every angle. All of this crazy shit of how they're connected to the system out there, to the point where when they walk by hundreds on the street, there's little boxes around each person showing you a certain color. Red being a threat of being suspicious, right? Yellow being those that are normal to society, and blue was considered as what was the word? It wasn't suspicious. It was untrustworthy. That's the word that they used. It was untrustworthy. So the worst thing you could be is suspicious and untrustworthy. And all of it ended up diagnosing them of who they were by them putting themselves in a machine where they will speak for 20 minutes and they will say a paragraph or something that they gave them in their hand to read for 20 different times for voice recognition. And depending on voice recognition and the fingerprints and all the information that you then gave, that's how they were able to come up with what category are you, untrustworthy, suspicious, or, you know, normal in society, right? So that's, I'm just telling you what's in the beginning of the video. And let me get to the point I wanted, right? Now, the point I wanted was... Give me 1 second. Yeah, even the schools had to register. Hospitals had to register. Everything in this video is showing you how everything's connected to the society. All right, showing you what will be eventually the things to come. All right, give me 1 second. I think it's right here. Yeah, here it goes. Okay. So this is what's happening in the FEMA camps out there. These are live FEMA camps.
Automatically give a result whether you are normal, you are suspicious, or untrustworthy. The leaders have many of the same complaints as the Tibetans. They say they're discriminated against, that they're not allowed to practice their religion and culture freely.
See,
and
that will be the future for America. Also, you're not allowed to speak based on religion, which this ain't a religion. This is your culture. This is your heritage. But to the world, is a religion. So they bring these type of laws, these draconian laws, for a reason, because it has to do with them just getting down to the nitty gritty of the prophets, man. All right, they don't care about none of your fake ass religions, none of your philosophies, none of your fake gods. All right, do they have to implement it to everybody, and they got to mess with all these other false type of religions also and things like that? Yeah, they got to make it seem good. All right, but at the end of the day, it's mainly to get to the prophets. That's it. All right, that's what this whole story is about. Them getting to the prophets, getting to the people of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, so watch what she says.
One man said to me, "You talk today, and tomorrow your whole family disappears."
So look at that. If you talk today, tomorrow your whole family disappears. All right, that's how it's gonna be in these last days too. This is how they're gonna do you in the FEMA camps. You know, this is how they're gonna teach you, try to reteach you, reprogram your mind. You know, you say something the wrong way, well, then they might slaughter your whole family in front of you in these FEMA camps, might torture your whole family to try to make you change your faith and make you comply. That's why you got to be ready for what's about to come, because, hey, like I said, some of our own peoples might be taken away. You know, we might be put in a very bad predicament with someone we really like, someone you know, been around for a very long time. All right. And they might try to use that against you. So also, you know, make you break. Right. Make you break, make you change your faith. Damn, I just saw my best friend get slaughtered, whatever. Just using that as an example. All right. But watch, she's going to say the next thing. She's going to say you either comply with the society or you die. Okay. And this is what's here in America with the FEMA camps that they have ready here. Okay. Let's go. So in the west end of Shangchang, whatever she said, right? Whatever he said they got over 1 million people in FEMA detention center, man. This is out there in China. Okay. And again, when you want to know what's the state of America's future, you look at China, because China, as it tells you in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, they have desired always to be like unto her. Okay. The Lord said that they were also hated. All right. Asia was also hated because they have followed after their inventions, you know, because they have followed in the ways of America and always desired to be exactly like her. Thou that is hated in all thy inventions, right? All their inventions and all their ways. Okay. So there's no way around it. All right. You look at China, that's what's going to happen to America, because China's the one that makes these different types of products, these security products, these you know, cameras to have a close eye on you 24/7, all these C-hips, okay, all this technology. All right. Yeah, America had the blueprint of wanting to do it first, but hey, they got beat to the punch because, again, China has always desired to be like them. Okay. So it was like a competition for them. But now, all right, because everything comes from China and from these other countries are the ones that are supplying us with the products, you know, to be able to make it that digital society, that, you know, total technocracy under total surveillance, you know. So they're already ahead of the game. They're already advanced in their technology and already have laid that shit out and brought it out and rolled it out. Okay. So just listen to what she says, right? So what he says, right?
Concentration camps in the far west province of Xinjiang. It's probably the largest internment of the ethnic or religious minorities in the Holocaust.
He said it's probably been the worst thing that they've ever seen after the Holocaust, which, don't get it twisted, all right? That whole Holocaust shit was bullshit, okay? Because the real Holocaust was the slaughtering of our people, okay? Now we're these fake ass, you know, tiny tots getting were they going through a certain type of thing where they were getting burnt up and all? Yeah, absolutely. Because when you know the history of the Albert Pike to Mazzini letters of how 3 world wars would be fomented, all right, you have the understanding of why pretty much Hitler was doing what he was doing, because they were in World War II was created to basically take away Nazism, you see. So when you understand how the elites were trying to get rid of the Nazis, okay, that's why you pretty much had Hitler standing up for what he did, you see, and he was basically taking them out the way, unaliving them, you know, putting them in their camps and things like that, because they were against Germany. They were out there trying to literally take out Germany, which eventually they did. You see, that's how World War II started, right? Because the first World War was about them taking away the Tsars, the Russians, okay? But the second one was to take away Nazism, to eventually bring this third World War, which was based on the Muslim community and the Christianity community, but Christianity pertaining to, you know, religion, okay? Because the real Christians is our people, okay? We are the ones that are truly the followers of Hamashiach, which is the anointed, all right? But this fake ass Christianity they have today has really nothing to do with Yahweh. It has nothing to do at all with Yahweh Shai, okay? But that's what that Third World War was invented for. All right, for the Muslims to go to war with these Christians back and forth. All right, another tactic of them getting themselves out of the way, you know. So listen again what she said, what he said. I keep saying she.
Concentration camps in the far west province of Xinjiang. It's probably the largest internment of the ethnic or religious minorities in the Holocaust.
Those who maybe potentially are untrustworthy, not even dangerous, potentially have to go to this so-called re-education camps.
Yeah, see?
They completely re-engineer them.
See, they re-engineer them. She said you have to go to these re-education concentration camps, because that's what they want to do. They want to re-educate you. They want to re-engineer you. You know, when they put you in these camps that are going to be out here, they're going to re-engineer you into what? Into their image. You have to follow their image. If you don't follow their image, well, then you stay in there longer. They'll torture you in there, whatever. You'll never get out of there. But if you just comply, bow down, worship, take the MOTB, follow the system, well, then you can be released back into the world, back into society. And they're already doing this in China, okay? He said it's crazy how people think the SEMA camps are a joke. Yeah, they think it's a joke until you end up in one of them. That's the crazy part, because they're all over the world, bro. They're all over the world. There's no such thing as they're not, that they're just being used for hurricane seasons, you know. Nah, man, them things been around for a while. One of the craziest things I seen when I went to Puerto Rico a couple years back, I went to Puerto Rico and I went to Aguadilla, and where I landed in Aguadilla, it was crazy. The airport was right next to a fucking FEMA camp, like literally down the street from a FEMA camp, right? And it was completely empty. And I've been through there through the nighttime. And the crazy part is it's completely empty, not being used. But when you pass there in the night, the lights are on. Why would the lights be on? Because they've been keeping it on for a while, for a long time, for a reason. Because they're going to be used. Even the damn gas station down the street was called FEMA Gas. And it was right next to the airport. And right next to the airport is, I believe it's the Navy ships of America. Because remember, America owns Puerto Rico, basically. So, you know, they have their fatness of the earth in Puerto Rico. And right there is, I believe it was Navy ships, because it was a big ass ship right there. And that's where they had all the military troops that come in to take over shit, you know. And right next to that was what? A FEMA. And it makes perfect sense of why it was there, because the port of the Navy ships, all right, because the Navy ship that was there was this big, long-ass boat, yo. That shit was crazy as hell. Big-ass, long boat. Not boat, but, you know, big-ass, you know, Navy ship was just sitting right there, like it just parked, right? And they have access to get off of it and go onto the land. But it made sense why the FEMA camp was right next to it. Because when the time comes of them transporting people and all that, that's where they're going to take them, right there. Right to that exact spot, load them off of the dock and put them right into that damn camp. All right. Including the people that already live there. You see? So these things are ready and prepared, man. All right.
The Lord people will give a completely re-engineer them. So the Lord people were given two choices. You either become a Chinese first, or
You see? So she said they give you two choices when you go to these. She said they give you two choices when you go to these camps. She said she was using what they were saying. I think she said Ranja. Hold on. She said it was you either become a Han Chinese person, which that's what they wanted them to be. You either be a Han Chinese person or you die, she said. See, that's what's going to happen here in America. You either going to comply and be Americanized the way we want you to be in our image, or your ass is going to die in these camps. You see? So it's no coincidence that they already had this in China and it's already happening. And eventually it's going to come here. It's just going to be worse here than ever. Because Babylon is Babylon the Great. You see, America's Babylon the Great, and the Lord is saving the best for last. You see? So it's going to happen the same way you seen in this video. That's why I keep telling y'all, go watch that movie 2073. It's on Amazon Prime. Crazy ass movie when you look at it. When you see how they put all this shit together between a movie and a documentary, it's showing you what we're about to come down to, man. What is about to happen here in America and around the rest of the world. Yeah, Esau's coming down with great wrath because he knows that he has but a short time. So hey man, it seems like it's taking long, but it's not. It's because it's on the time of the Lord. And when Esau finally is given that go to do what he do, he gonna do the most. He gonna make use of his time left here on earth before he gets destroyed. He gonna take a lot of our people out. He gonna slaughter a lot of our people. He gonna torture a lot of our people. You false prophets that want to play with the word of the Lord, y'all niggas is gonna be tortured. You know what I'm saying? The Lord gonna give this heathen charge over our people, and y'all gonna be trodden down like the mire of the streets, man. Okay? We can't emphasize this much more than what we already do. When we tell you that great death, great destruction by the sword is coming, that they shall be like madmen sparing none, we mean that, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Because this is what they're going to use to torture you, to put you down, to re-educate you, to try to, you know, like she said, what was the word? Re-engineer you. You see? And like the brother said, they just taking this shit as a joke. They taking it lightly. Okay? Until your ass get pulled into one of those camps. Then you're going to be trying to call upon the name of the Lord or find out the name of the Lord, but it's not going to work in your favor, man. Right? The Lord said, let's grab that real quick. Proverbs. Right? This is Proverbs 1:24. And it reads, let me get hot as hell in here. I'll start talking. All right? This is Proverbs 1:20. I don't need my car no more. Turned on. So I'm about to wrap it up. Proverbs 1:24. All right. Oh. Proverbs 1:24. And it reads, because I have called and you refused, and I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded, but you have set at naught all my counsel and with none of my reproof. Yeah, you ignored the advice. You rejected the correction that the Lord offered you, man. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. Yeah, that's what the Lord gonna do. He gonna laugh at you. He gonna mock you in the time of your calamity. When your fear cometh as a desolation and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, and they shall not find me. You see, you're not going to find the Lord, man. Why? Because you hated the knowledge and you chose not to fear the Heavenly Father, man. So now you're going to have to eat the fruit of your own way. You see, you're going to be pretty much done for. You see, and for the turning away of the simple shall slay them, the scriptures say, man. And the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But those that hearkened were the ones that were going to dwell safely, you know. They were not going to be afraid with fear because they fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. They don't fear man. They fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You see? So the camps are going to be set up to throw the mass of people that are going to end up being MOTB'd, but also to try to throw them prophets, man. Just like how you read, you know, in the books and different accounts, you know, how prophets were being pushed, were being thrown into prisons, man. You know, they were being put into prisons because of speaking of the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. It tells you that in Acts the 5th chapter. You know, they were trying to throw it was John and Peter, okay, into prisons. All right, because they were preaching the word of the Lord, because they were healing people, you know, miracles were being made on the earth. So they were being thrown into jail. All right. And basically they were told not to preach in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You see, so same manner is going to come to us. But like the scriptures say, man, all right, that some of us shall be thrown into prisons, you know, that you shall be tried 10 days. Be faithful until death, and I will give you a crown of life. You see, so it's gonna happen because the scriptures tell you it's gonna happen. Who's it gonna happen to? We don't know. All right, but whoever it happens to through the Spirit, we have to remain strong regardless. You see, can't let those things make you change your mind, because that's what Satan wants you to do. He wants you to experience those things, see those things, and then make you change your faith. But you got to stay rooted and grounded, right? Brother put he said wrath refers to extreme, intense anger, often accompanied by a strong desire for punishment or vengeance. Yeah, or vengeance. Yeah, because it's a punishment of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. It's a vengeance of the Lord that's being brought upon our people, you see, because of their disobedience, because of them, you know, disobeying the word, man, you know, for turning their face from the word. So there's a great judgment for it. There's a great punishment. Okay. So we have to continue to, be on point. We have to continue to think and meditate upon these things and ask the Lord to, you know, beg for mercy that the Lord spare us from times like that, man, that we don't get tossed into those things. All right. And if we do, that we have the spirit to endure. All right. And that the Lord have mercy upon us when he brings that wrath. All right. Using these damn heathens. Because the Lord said in Ezekiel the 7th, I will bring the worst out of the heathens, man. He gonna bring the worst out of the heathens. So they're going, like the brother put, 12 and 12 in Revelations, they shall come down on he shall come down with great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time. You see? So he has to come in a certain manner because it's the will of the Lord. And it's the punishment for our people. You see? So just wanted to share that through the Spirit, you know. They will be waiting for you, those Fifi camps. Okay? So I'm going to leave it there through the Spirit. Lord willing, you will edify. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Barak Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who grew well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad. the Akim and the Aqua that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, enduring as good soldiers of Yahweh Shah. Shalom.